Video is so good. This is not a paid advertisement. Hello guys. I figured before I would be way too tired and also unmotivated to kind of record this little bit of a review from my very first and definitely not last strongman competition today, the Illinois State Championship competition in Aurora. It was a blast. It was the first one that I've ever done. About 7.5 weeks ago, I decided to give the world of strongman a shot because, as you know, some of you guys know, I like heavy weights, and I just wanted to try something different besides powerlifting essentially. So yeah, just wanted to take you guys through a little review on how all the events went. The way that this competition was held is essentially there were five different events. We had the log clean and press, we had the farmer's walk and deadlift medley essentially. Then we had the biggest pain in the ass of a zercher carry and sandbag medley. Is medley the right word? But it's like two exercises that are combined. I think that's called medley. Then we had a last man standing deadlift, which was super fun. And then the last event was the hammer hold, Thor's hammer hold. So depending on the competition, you have just like in powerlifting, you have many different weight classes and age groups. It kind of depends on how big the event is and how many people you have per class really. But I chose to compete in the novice section, the super men's heavyweight novice group essentially category. And so everyone that competed in there was supposed to not have ever competed or only like once, because according to the rules you can do it like twice and then you have to go into the men's open, I think. So yeah, it was really fun. The log clean and press I thought was going to be my absolute favorite event. The only downside was that I found out the day off that I had to wear a shirt. I thought in the rules I read log clean and press is the only event where a shirt is not required, but he was referring to the shirt that they're giving us. So everyone has to wear like the competition shirt, so we kind of all look the same. So that really messed with my plan for that. I have done the weight, the 250 pounds before, and even a little heavier, but because I don't have what they call a power belly, I don't have a gut, it's a little bit harder for me to basically clean the weight up to my chest essentially. So, and because I didn't, usually when you do it without a shirt, it sticks to your skin better. It doesn't really hurt. It's just much more grippy. And so that cost me a lot of energy to yank it up there just on the shirt. I was obviously sweaty, so that helped a little bit to make it slightly damp, but it still wasn't ideal. So that kind of messed that up for me, I suppose. The medley or the farmer walk and deadlift, that was really fun. That was all for speed. And I was very satisfied with how it went. I felt really fast in that. Goodness, the zercher carry, when I started that, I literally almost passed out. Like you'll see in one of the videos in here how I had to like stop halfway through, and I basically saw like it started to get like channel vision, so I just had to set it down because I couldn't really breathe. Like it's very hard to hold 500 pounds in front of your chest and then breathe. So that's kind of the skill. And then I was deducted like 4 seconds because I didn't have the bar that I was holding on to. You could select what height you would have, which was kind of nice. I had it set to high though, so that means I had to work a lot harder to actually get it off the floor. And then in the end also, that's why I had a little bit of trouble getting the sandbag over the bar. So again, rookie mistake, but I still completed it, so that was good. God, the deadlift, so happy about that. 635, big PR from my previous 595. Very, very happy. It was a really nonchalant, casual way how we all went about that. And it was just fun. It was a really good, I guess, good progressions. The weights felt fantastic. I didn't really expect that I still had that much juice left in the tank after that zercher carry, because that thing that just kind of messed with me. And then I won the deadlift for my class. I got the highest weight on that because it's just death by deadlift essentially. So you just go as high as you possibly can. So everybody goes into like the big circle. We started like, I don't know, 365, 405, something like that. And then you just go up by 40, 50 pound increments. And then the higher you get, it's more like 20 pounds then towards the end. So so it was super fun. Everyone encourages each other. And then the last thing was the hammer hold. So that's really a lot of shoulder. I would say just general upper body, because if you do it right, you also use your pecs and your lats and try like a lot of muscles at the same time, even though you kind of hold it in front. The beautiful thing about those things is every event is made for, like, everyone has their own little advantages, right? Obviously, you can just be a monster and be good at everything, even if you're taller, you have longer limbs. But if you think about it, if you have shorter arms, you could probably do the hammer hold much better. But you might struggle a little bit more with the deadlift compared to somebody that has really long arms and whatever, shorter legs, I suppose. So usually there are people that are built better for certain events. I'm very happy to say that I won that one as well. It was only 35 pounds actually, which I was surprised about. I have been training with heavier, so that did me well, but I held it for just over a minute, so that was really fun. And then lastly, I got a trophy, second place. So it looks pretty cool, kind of like Jekyll and Hyde pulling his shirt off, but anyway. So yeah, it was a super awesome experience. I cannot wait to eat my second dinner. I've basically been eating since my buddy drove me back. I want to just give a shout out. I don't know if he ever will watch this, but Armand, dude, it means a ton to me that you drove up there with me today. And for that matter, anyone that did make the trip down, I know it was a 2-hour drive, so thank you guys so much. You know who you are for coming to visit and stay. I know with some of the events, it might get a little wary at times because all you do is sit, but I hope it was eventful. And again, I really appreciate it. I remember every time. The last thought I want to say is that there was I forgot his name, but he is currently coaching some really big names in the strongman world. And he was telling one of the other guys, as I was kind of saying bye to some of them. I've never met anyone before, so I made a bunch of new friends today. He was telling him how it's very important to train with people that are better than you, go to different gyms, play around with different equipment, because not everything is the same. That's kind of the fun thing in this sport, of strongman, is that not every competition is the same. You might always use different equipment. Especially becomes creative if you have to use equipment at the competition that you don't have at your gym. So that might happen, but you adapt and you overcome, right? I think Armand was actually talking about that in terms of legitimacy about the sport. This is still just a hobby. I obviously don't get compensated. I rather spend a fair amount of money on my training, on all the stuff that I need to be strong, right? Food and all that stuff, and then pay for the competitions, the fees and all that stuff, maybe some of the equipment. And so I think the important part, and this could be about other areas as well, like in your personal fitness, is that I think that the line, whether or not you want to take this, let's say, to the extreme, is how much are you willing to sacrifice for it. And I was thinking about it in terms of I have, Lauren and I both, so many hobbies, so many things we love to do. And if you want to be really, really, really good at one thing, other things have to take a back seat. So if it ever gets to the point, essentially, where my training, or for that matter, eating, because you fucking have to eat a shit ton. If it ever comes to the point, essentially, where it would be between sacrificing the lifestyle, in this case right now with my wife, versus, taking a weekend trip to go to a different gym and train with people that I could potentially learn from, the strongman would take a back seat, or powerlifting, or the sports for that matter, because it's still just a hobby. I guess what I want to say with that is, if you're basically don't be, and I know this comes from a trainer, but don't be too obsessed about your fitness, because in the end, you're staying, especially if you're not competing, right? If you just work out recreationally, you're working out so you can do other things too. So don't forget about that. If you have to scratch a workout on a weekend or so to be with your family and go to the park, well, do that. That's kind of why you're doing it, right? So you can play with the kids, or go for a bike ride, or do something active, right? So I encourage you guys to keep that in perspective. If you have been overtraining, or if you maybe have noticed how people think that you go too much into it, keep it in mind. If that's what you want to do, fine. However, there's always going to be a drawback. Balance always goes back and forth. It'll never be, or rarely be, the perfect peak at all times, right? So understand that. And I think that was all I wanted to say. I'm definitely hungry. I bought some pizza, I got some jalapeno powers, and some Snickers ice cream. So I want to devour that now. If you stayed until the end and watched this whole thing, thank you. Thank you very much. I wanted to just get all the stuff out of my head. So it was almost like a little diary journal thing-ish for me. So Also, if you ever want to get a huge, you want to feel really good, get a body armor and put like either a table, if it's a big one, a tablespoon, or if it's a small one, half a tablespoon or teaspoon, whatever the smaller one is called, salt in it. You want to stay hydrated, have those. I hope you guys have a good rest of your, whenever you watch this, weekend, week, and stay tuned for more. Until next time.